Hey guys, in today's video, we're checking out the Shure SLX-D wireless system. This is the system that I've settled on for my wireless vocal mic. And in my opinion, the Shure SLX-D system is where you really start getting into pro level wireless gear. It's not quite as, super high end as like the ULX-D system, but it's also above, the entry level BLX, PGX, and GLX-D systems. The SLX-D is where we start going from like an entry level Shure wireless system up to a pro level wireless system. And that's part of the reason that I've chose it as my vocal mic system. So a little over a year ago, I did an entire Shure wireless video series. I went over the BLX, the PGX, the GLX-D, the SLX, the QLX-D, and the ULX-D. In my video on the SLX series, I said it was a video about both the SLX and the SLX-D. Since that video's come out, the SLX has been canceled and they've just done the SLX-D. And I did mention that the SLX-D is actually really quite different from the SLX system. It's a much better upgrade. So I said that if I ever got my hands on an SLX-D, I would do an updated video. So here's that video. So in this video, I'm going to go over setup, specs, syncing, scanning, transmitter settings, receiver settings, price, options, and stuff like that. So whether you're buying this system for like a handheld mic or for a guitar or bass or instrument, or even like a lavalier mic, all of this will be able to apply to you to see if this is a system that you could be interested in. Before we get started, my channel is a music tech channel, gear reviews, tutorials, programming. I do gear giveaways on this channel. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe, and hitting the thumbs up button is a free way to support the channel. Also, really quick, in that Shure video series, I ended on the ULX-D. And I did say that I was going to do the Accent Digital video as well, which is the complete highest, probably best wireless system that is in existence out there, in my opinion. Really high-end, very expensive. If you are interested in me completing the series and doing an entire review and demo of the Shure Accent Digital, leave a comment down below and let me know that you want to see that one. All right, but let's go ahead and check out the SLX-D. All right, so the setup is insanely easy on this. So in the back here, you plug it in, and it is really nice. The power actually has this screw right here, so it can't get unplugged accidentally. I can try to pull on it. You have to unscrew it in order to unplug it, which is great, so you don't accidentally unplug the power to your device. You can see the antennas come off, so you can put them in a rack, or you can have them just on a desk or a tabletop like this as well. So in the back, you have XLR and 1/4 inch out. So, if you're using it with a mic, use the XLR. If you're using it with an instrument, like a guitar or bass, use the instrument out. And you do also get an Ethernet port to use with like Shure software and stuff like that. So turn the power on. And the first thing you're going to want to do is to scan. This is my transmitter. It does take AA batteries, or it does take a special battery, which I'll talk to you about later. But the thing that I love about this is that you can see an audio and an RF signal right here. So once I turn this on, so when I turn the mic on, you'll see the RF signal light up. When I turn the mic off, you can see that it's all the way off. So right now, that means that there's no signal coming in right now, which is great. So that means that's likely a clear channel. However, I like to personally do a scan no matter what. So push the button. You have this main button right here that does pretty much everything. Go to frequency setup. The guided frequency setup and the group scan basically just do the same thing, but I'll do the guided one. You got to initialize my system, and it tells you, to do a group scan and all this stuff, but basically push the knob and start a scan. It's scanning for the best channel. And it says group 2 frequencies available 28. So I'm just going to hit assign. Push the knob, and it is assigned. And now it says asking you to hit sync. So you're going to turn on your transmitter, push the sync button down here, put it in front of the IR port, and you'll see, and it'll say success. And now you can see that it is working. And that is how you scan and sync. Very, very simple. Other options for scanning, so you can just do group scan, which is basically what we just did. You can do a channel scan. So if you're happy on group 2, you just want to scan within that group, you can do that. If you don't know what groups and channels mean, I have a whole video dedicated to that. So you should check that out if you're interested in that. And you also have manual frequency setup. So you can go in here and you can manually say, I want to go to group 4, channel 4, or something like that. Or you can manually change the frequency that you're on, and you can dial that in specifically to the exact megahertz that you want. But I'm just going to cancel that because I don't want to do that. And then obviously you do the same thing on your transmitter, but I'll go over the settings in the transmitter in a little bit. Okay, so as far as specs, it has 44 megahertz of RF tuning bandwidth. That's a big upgrade from the BLX, the PGX, the GLX, and even the original SLX, which I believe only had 24. The wider the RF tuning bandwidth, with the more frequencies that you have to find a clear channel. This is really where you're starting to get a lot of frequency options, and this is why I think that this is a pro level system. So the range is 328 feet line of sight. Frequency response is from 20 hertz up to 20 kilohertz. Of course, different microphones will have that different frequency responses, but the receiver itself receives the full frequency response range. Battery life is up to 8 hours. It also has a dual receiver system that fits in only 1 U of rack space. It's actually really helpful for saving on rack space, and you only need 1 pair of antennas for both wireless systems. So it basically acts as like an antenna combiner slash distribution system, which is great because you don't want to have a bunch of wireless stacked on top of each other with the antennas stacked on top of each other in a rack. That's a great way to get dropouts, and this dual system already combines the antennas of 2 of the receivers into just a pair of antennas, which is really cool because if you had 2 individual SLX systems together in a rack, that'd be 4 antennas, whereas using this dual one, you have 2. Pretty awesome. Okay, so there are different microphone head options. So if you were just using this with guitar, you don't have to worry about this, and you can probably skip this part. But if you're using it as a handheld mic, which is how I use it, you have a lot of options. The standard SM58, you also have the SM86, the Beta 58A, the SM87A, which honestly I hadn't even heard about. You also get the Beta 87A or C, my personal favorite. That's the one that I usually go for with my baritone vocals. But this is the first system where you can get the KSM8 or the KSM9, which is rated as one of the highest Shure wireless microphone capsules. Really nice sounding mic for sure. And this is the first of the Shure wireless series that is compatible with the KSM8 and the KSM9. So if any of the info on specs doesn't make sense to you, you should watch my video about what to look for in a wireless system where I go into much more detail. If there's something that you don't know, or you just want to kind of expand your knowledge on wireless and stuff like that, it's worth checking out that video. Okay, so on the receiver, you get a few things. Controls are very basic. You have exit and sync here, and your main button right here, this is what you use so it twists, so you can scroll through menus, and you push a button to get into it. So pushing the button and exit basically is it. On this main menu right here, you get to scroll through 3 different screens. So on the top here, it looks like this. Down below, it looks like this. And the third one down, it looks like this. This is kind of the one that I like because it has the name that I gave it, as well as the group, the channel, and the frequency that it's on. On any of them, you get the audio as well as the RF signal. So if I start talking into the mic, so you can see, hey, 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 I'm talking into the mic right now, you can see the audio level. So you can see when I'm whispering, it's quieter. And when I'm talking louder, it'll go a lot higher. All right, so going through some of the menu options in here. So we already did the frequency setup. The channel name, so I can give this, a different name if I wanted to, but I called this Scott Vocals because I use this for my vocals. But you can name your device, which is nice. Next one down, you have a gain option, which is really cool. I really like the way that they do this. So I'm going to talk into the mic. Hey, hey, hey. So if I'm singing into it, you can see that it's right at the optimal level, maybe a tiny bit lower. So if I was singing into it, I fell into a burning ring of fire. That's kind of about the right level for this to be set at. I'm just going to leave it at 8 because that's how I have everything configured. It might be a tiny bit low, but I like that it gives you this optimal reading. Very cool. Exit to get out of that. You can set it to mic or line level. So push it line level or mic level, depending on what you need. I'm using it as a microphone, so I'm going to set it to mic level. Next menu down, advanced settings I'll show you here in a little bit. And then the help menu, it gives you this QR code and the website that you can go to if you need help setting this up. Pretty nice. I've never actually seen that before. All right, so advanced settings. So device lock. So what would you like to lock? Just the menu or the menu and power? So I'm going to lock the menu and power. So now what happens if I try to turn this off, it won't turn off. So no one can accidentally turn this off. The only way to do that is to unlock it or unplug the power, I guess. But if I went in there and tried to do a group scan, it says the front panel is locked. So if I try to do that with anything else in here, any of the menus, it's all locked in here. Manual frequency setup, it's still locked. So I basically can't do anything when everything is locked. So the only way that you can unlock it is to go to advanced settings, device lock, push it, and go to unlock. And now everything is unlocked. More advanced settings. So this is network configuration. If you use, that Ethernet port and have software set up, but this gives you all the information. And, that's not really what this video is about. But if you want to use like Shure Wireless Workbench and stuff like that, you can do that here. Controller access. If you do plan to use it with third-party software, you want to allow controller access with it, but if not, you just set it to block. I don't use that, so I'm just going to leave that on block. Going back, transmitter preset. So if you want to apply and sync stuff with the transmitter, so I can say the a high pass filter, I want it to be send on or off to the transmitter. I just don't do that. I always leave this just off because I just like, having control over both of them. But if you want the transmitter and the receiver to sync together with some of these settings, you can do that. You also can save a preset, which is nice. So I can save this preset. If all my settings are good, I could save this preset. And then if I start messing around with it and things get screwed up, I can always just go back and restore from the previous preset. Do you have a factory reset, which I'm not going to do? So for updating the firmware on the transmitter, you do that over infrared. So this is how you would do that. So you just push the knob and you would sync over infrared, just like we did for the scan. For the firmware update, you do that on the Shure utility software. Okay, so for settings on the transmitter, so you have your switch right here to turn it on and off. So with my new camera, my new lens, it's kind of a little blinky. You still should be able to read it, but just in case, I'm going to put text on the screen of what is being said on the transmitter just to make it a little bit easier. My bad. You have menu and enter. It's a little bit difficult to scroll through here, but basically you push the menu button here to scroll through different things, and you push enter to go into the certain menu. So you can see the mic offset. So the mic offset, I never use this. So the way that you control this, so if I wanted to change this, I would hit enter and then hit menu to cycle through the different options. So you can go up to plus 21 or just leave it at 0. That's if you need to like match the audio between two different microphones. I mean, I never use that. If you use it as a single system, you really don't need to worry about that. So next menu is the RF power. Do you want it low or high? So higher is not always better. If you're pretty close to your receiver and you don't have to go too far from it, you can set it to low. Higher can have problems, although to be honest, I'm a little lazy with this and I usually just leave it on high all the time. But if you are getting problems and you are like really close from the transmitter to the receiver, set it to low. Next menu is you have a high pass filter, either on or off. I couldn't find any info on the exact frequency that it's cutting, so I just leave that on off. But I mean, it can be nice to get rid of some of the lows, although this mic does a good job removing some of the lows, especially since they have like such a baritone vocal anyways. Next, you have info on the battery. Since I'm using the special battery, it'll give me a lot of information in here. If you're using AA batteries, it does give you the option to set what kind of battery you're using. So if you're using alkaline, you want to set it to alkaline, and then it gives a more accurate reading on the bars. You do have the auto lock feature on here as well. So you can turn it to on or off. So with it on, now I can't change anything. I can switch the view. I can see this differently. So now the only way to unlock it is to push menu, enter, menu, and now you can get back in here. What do you want to lock? Do you want menu and power, just the menu, or menu and power? So if you have it to menu and power, so now when I try to flip the switch, it doesn't shut off. That can be really helpful anytime I'm doing like speeches or something for like a wedding or something like that, where I control the, the volume of it from a mixer. I can't tell you the number of people who have bumped stuff off by accident. That can be very, very helpful. And then you just get a little bit of information as well. And that's basically it. Okay, so as far as price, it really depends on what combination that you get, but I'll go over some of the most common ones. For a guitar system, it's about $650 as of time of shooting. I think it's a very fair price for what you get with this system. That might seem like a lot, but you really are getting into pro-level wireless territory here. In my opinion, it's definitely worth it, especially if you want to have a very solid and reliable wireless system. As for microphones, it really depends on what microphone you get, but 700 seems to be the entry point. That's with the SM58, and it goes up in price, so the Beta 58, it's $750. With the Beta 87, it's about $840, and the KSM series are over $1,000. So getting the dual option, which again, if you are going to use two wireless at once, you definitely should look into the dual option. So that starts at $1,280 for dual guitar and $1,380 for the mics. So you save $20, which isn't much, but I don't think it's really so much as a saving on money. It's the convenience of having two wireless in a rack with just one U of rack space. If you haven't seen my video on 5 common wireless mistakes, one of the wireless mistakes is having a bunch of antennas stacked in a rack altogether. And again, price just goes up based on the microphones that you get if you get this with a handheld. Keep in mind with the dual, you can also mix and match. So one can be a microphone and one for a guitar. I almost did that. I really almost did this, that I would have my guitar and my wireless vocals all in one, but I settled on just getting a single one for a microphone. I still consider upgrading sometimes though, because it's really nice to have it all in one. As far as some external accessories, there is the battery, the SB903, to get a more accurate reading of how much battery life you have left. It's accurate up to 15 minutes. That's nice to have instead of just, bars. So it'll say, you have 7 hours and 15 minutes left instead of just 4 or 3 bars. It is really nice. I have it. It's a little pricey, to be honest. I'm glad that I have it. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to spend the money. And you do have to get a specific charger for it as well, which is what makes it pretty expensive. You can get a single or a double unit. I will link to it down down below. I'm not sad that I have it, it's just a little pricey. All right, so that's the SLX-D wireless system by Shure. This really is a phenomenal wireless microphone system. I've used it over the last year. It's been bulletproof. I haven't had any problems with it, and we use a lot of wireless live. And one of the things, if you haven't seen my video of 5 common mistakes that people make with wireless gear, one of the things is that people try to pack in too much cheap wireless all at once, and that's not how it works. You know, cheap wireless, you can use less systems at once. Once you get to the Shure SLX-D model, you're really starting to have a lot of frequency options and a lot of wireless can be used at once. So in my opinion, the SLX-D is really a great system if you are looking to really have a very solid wireless system. So I definitely recommend it, and I'm really glad that I have it. And I still consider to this day about upgrading to getting the double one and just having my guitar and my mic in that all in one. So that's basically it. If you guys found this video helpful, please just hit the thumbs up button. It does a ton to help the channel and feed the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff, so I would appreciate it. Purchase links for all of these will be down in the description down below. Again, leave a comment if you really want me to do that video on the Axient Digital. It's a very expensive system, pretty much the holy grail of wireless systems. If you are actually interested in me doing a video on that, leave a comment down below. Let me know. If I get enough comments, I'll do it. But until then, you should check out some of my other videos, including the other Shure video series. Also, check out my video on 5 common mistakes when using wireless music gear. So you can check out some of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at Scott Ewell Music on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.